After this rejection from nature, our paper appeared first in this experimental brain research that in those times was considered a very good journal. Now impact factor is not so high, but in the 90s was considered a very good journal. And then we published two full papers, one in brain and one in cognitive neuroscience. But the paper in brain has accepted with great enthusiasm, but many people, maybe more outside physiology than inside physiology. I mean, inside physiology, the people say, well, interesting, but that's it. Instead, a lot of people outside physiology, sociologists, philosophers, psychologists, found that there was a mechanism which could explain many things. And then we were very lucky when Ramachandran, the neurologist from San Diego, published a paper saying, and that was, I think, in 2000, the idea was, what is the most influential paper for the next 10 years? And he said, for me, will be the discovery of mirror neurons, because it's something which does the same thing which DNA did for molecular biology, give an explanation of a lot of psychological properties which before have no neurological basis. That for us was a big boost. Surprising, it was very friendly reception. In the past, for example, we published something which I think extremely interesting, which is so-called premotor theory of attention, in which we explain many facts in attention with very simple neural mechanisms. And for example, all psychologists hate it. It's impossible, such a simple mechanism. Instead, mirror neurons, there are some enemies, but in general, it's accepted with enthusiasm. When we discovered mirror neurons, in Germany there was a school of psychologists, the senior psychologist called Wolfgang Prinz, who made a very interesting theory about how we do imitation, postulating that should be a transformation of visual information in another format, but he thought not in a motor format, but he called it sovramodal. So it should be a kind of box in our brain in which is able to transform sensory information into motor information. But his idea that it was not in the motor system. He thought that it should be something cognitive or anyway. But they did in Munich a lot of beautiful experiments showing that that's true, that you can transform immediately sensory information in the motor. But they didn't know anything about the basis, the neurological basis of it. So when we discovered the mirror neurons, somehow it was, the world was ready to accept there should be this transformation from one format to another. For psychologists, it was a bit hard to accept that it was in the motor system, because they always consider the motor system something rather dull and stupid, which should just execute movements.